Hey, planty people, it's Jordan back on Kentucky Plant Daddy. Thank you for coming back to my channel and watching my videos. This is going to be episode 2 of my Hoya collection, and I'm just going to dive right in with the first Hoya, and that's going to be the Hoya obovata. So this plant came to me in soil from a Facebook purchase, and actually not in soil, it was in leca. I'm not sure what happened because I had to take this cutting and then root it back out in water. It didn't have root rot because I checked all the roots, they were white and nice and all in the leca, but the stem turned black at a certain point and it turned woody and it was breaking off and it was climbing up my plant. So I chopped it where I thought it was safe, and then I rerooted this in water. I don't know if you can tell. There you go. The roots are in it. And I put this one in pond. It was just a cutting of these 3 leaves here, the bottom ones. And then since repotting it in pond, it's given me 1 leaf. So this has been a journey of a plant for me. And like I said, I've never had anything like that happen. It was clearly not root rot. That was not the problem. So I don't exactly know what happened to this Hoya, but I'm hoping that I'm getting it back on track by having it here in pond, and it's giving me new growth. This is just the Hoya obovata, and it's cute. It is got nice round leaves, and you can kind of tell that they're full of thickness and water. You can tell when this plant's dehydrated, but with it being in a semi-hydro setup, I don't really have to worry about that. And it would be a favorite plant of mine probably if I could grow it better than what I'm doing, but I'm figuring it out and we will figure it out together. The second Hoya that I'm going to talk about is called the Hoya Nuna, and I got this plant from a swap, and it had roots, and I planted it when I got home into a pond mixture. It was rooted in water, and this has done nothing. So I don't know what this plant likes yet. It's been about a month or 2. I'm gonna just leave it alone for now. It's not dying, but it isn't exactly thriving either. I would expect to have seen some sort of growth, but maybe it's working on a vigorous root system in here. I kind of made the mistake of not putting it in something that I can see what's happening, but we'll see. This is a new plant to me, and I don't know much about it, but it's called the Hoya Nuna. And I think it's got a pink flower if it ever would flower, but see how pretty it is. And I think that it would be a nice plant to have once it gets bigger. Or, this is kind of cute already, right? It's already a little tiny ceramic plant vibe, but Hoya Nuna. Okay, so my third plant is the Hoya Pubicalyx, and this was my first ever Hoya that I had, and I got it from Costco. It was in one of those bundle deals where you could get 3 plants for cheap. I think it was $17 or something. So I got 2 well fins and this Pubicalyx for $17. It was smaller when I got it. It has given me growth. It's not been the most vigorous grower, but I will say it's still in the cheap soil that I got it in, and I want to chop it up. I can't help it. I want to chop it up. I want to root it in water, and I want to put it in semi-hydro. But it is my first ever Hoya. I got this plant, and then this was my only Hoya for a while, and then I went on a Hoya bender. So this kind of started it all. This was my first ever Hoya Pubicalyx. The fourth plant that we're going to talk about today is the Hoya anduences. It's a thin leaf Hoya, and it has this scalloping of the leaves. I don't know how else to say it. It's just a different leaf shape than a lot. It has grown for me. I have this in pond, and it's not usually in this little cup. It's usually upstairs in a community setup, but I just pulled it for the video. But It has given me new growth. I have had several new leaves, and I don't know if you can tell, like there's two little baby leaves there, and there is a leaf right there that's growing. But I got this plant probably 5 months ago, and it's given me new growth. It's tiny, but it's living and showing me signs of growing, so that's all I can ask for. Hoyas are notorious to be slow growers, but this one has been fine. I like the leaf shape on this plant. It's kind of unique, and it makes me want to grow it more. I'm not ready to cut it or to like try to grow it out yet. I think I want to wait and let this just keep growing for now, but eventually we'll see what happens. This is the Hoya anduences. Okay, so the fifth Hoya that we're going to talk about today is the Hoya Australis variegated. So I got this plant from a nursery. I'm going to put a picture here of what it looked like when I got it. And this plant at first had a rocky start with me because like I had some new growth points on it, and then like the leaf would just fall off like exactly where it was. And you can kind of see like where that has happened. And I still haven't quite figured it out, but I have had several leaves grow to maturity. This is a new leaf. This is a new leaf. This is a new leaf. I have a leaf down in here that's a new leaf. And there's all kinds of little growth points. Like there's two little tiny buds in there. There's a little bud up top there. So it's growing. I'm not sure why I lost the initial growth. Maybe just because it's like a new environment and it was settling in from like the nursery to like my home and like humidity, and I'm not sure. But this has been a plant that is taking a lot of patience for me, but I think we're in a good spot now. And it's cute. It has like a weird growth pattern, right? Like it's like kind of wild, like can't really control it. How it goes, but this is still in the nursery soil. With it being so finicky, when I first brought it home, I was scared to do anything with it. And then now that I'm in this good place with it, I'm also scared to mess it up. So we'll eventually see what happens with this plant. Right now it's growing, and I'm going to leave it exactly how it is for the time being. This is the Hoya Australis variegated. Okay, Hoya number 6 is going to be the Hoya Globulosa, and I love this plant. It would be one of my favorites for sure. When I bought it from a nursery, it had all of the leaves that it has currently except the top two. Those came out in my care. But it hasn't grown since. However, it does have like little growth leaves there at the top. And then there's also like a little nub right there. You see it? It has like fuzzy leaves on the bottom. It feels so nice. This is one of my favorite Hoyas. I need to stake it up, to be honest. Also, when I brought this home, I kind of traumatized this plant because I tried to get it out of this chunky soil, like bark mix that it's in, and put it into semi-hydro, but I could not get the bark off of this plant's roots. I had to just abort mission because I could not get it free. I could not get the root ball free. I was just going to probably kill my plant. So I put it back in there with the root ball and just like put chunky soil and bark around it, and it's been fine ever since. And like I said, it's given me these two leaves. I'm trying to wait for it to grow some, but then I'm going to give it the chop, see if I can get some water roots, and see if I can't put this in some semi-hydro, because this is a beautiful Hoya, and I need to stake it up. Okay, that's going to be a mission after this video, is to stake this up. But Hoya Globulosa, one of my favorite Hoyas. I do have my favorite Hoya in this video. I'm going to save it for last. But you guys just tell me, what do you think about these leaves? Look at those veins. Look at the fuzziness of the leaf. You can't see it, but geez, if you just ever get the chance, it's really cool. Okay, guys, the 7th Hoya I got from Plant Haven, Toronto, and it is called Hoya and a violet flower. So I'm pretty sure that if this flowers, the flower is going to be violet. But this came smaller. It has given me some new growth. I don't know if you can tell, like with the lighting, but like this is kind of like yellower and this is kind of yellower, and those are the new leaves. Like when these leaves come in, they're a little bit yellow. They don't look the healthiest, but then I find like once that they're like matured, they get like a deeper green. So this is in pond. When I got it from Plant Haven, Toronto, it was in moss. And it seems to have gotten to the pond real easily. You can see some of the roots sticking out. They're like a thin rooted Hoya as well, but like there's a root system down in there. It seems to be happy. I have this under a grow light. It isn't popping off, but it's live and it's growing, so that's what's important. I like this plant so far. We're going to see what else it does for me in the future and see kind of what happens. I don't really have much to say further about it, but it's a pretty cool Hoya so far. Okay, so the 8th Hoya is going to be the Hoya krohniana silver, not the super silver like the last video, just the plain silver. And so here she is in her hanging basket. She is glorious. I love her. She had mealybugs, and I alcoholed her a few days ago, so she's not living her bestest life, but like things could be worse for her, you know. It wasn't like a terrible mealybug outbreak. It was like 2, but still, you know, if you find 2, there's a bunch somewhere, and I'm gonna find them because I'm the pest police around here. But so this Hoya doesn't have any blooms right now, which is uncharacteristic for it, because in my time with it, which is about 6 months now, she stays a blooming. So I don't know if it's because she had a mealy or 2 on her or what, but she lives in a south-facing window. And I will also say that like she's put on like a lot of vertical growth recently, like from here down is all new, and you can see these like bare vines. Those are all going to get leaves on them. Like you can, I don't know, can you see these baby leaves on this? There's like 3 baby leaves on there. So maybe she's just taking a break from her blooming life just to give me like some foliage, because like she stays blooming. It's insane. So she is in a chunky mix, and she hangs in a south window. I don't have her in semi-hydro. I have a feeling that one day, once I get aggravated at like the weirdness of how she's growing, that I'm going to chop her to where she's even, like boom, and leave this as it is as like a medium, and then plant all this up in semi-hydro, and then I'll have a good semi-hydroponic version of this. This plant, I'm going to put some pictures of when she's flowered here and maybe here, I don't know, somewhere on the screen. But my husband made me move this plant into like the plant room instead of like out in my house, because he couldn't stand the smell of the flower. He said it keeps giving him a headache. I didn't have any issues with the flower smell, but he absolutely could not take it. And funny enough, the reason why I even have this Hoya is because the girl I bought it off of, that was her boyfriend's complaint as well. So that is the Hoya krohniana silver. Okay, so number 9, Hoya Chinghungensis. So when I got this, it was in moss from Plant Haven, Toronto, and it had 3 main vines to it. Those vines grew extremely long, like out to here, okay? And I cut them. I don't know if you can tell, like this one is one I cut. Boom. And then I didn't root them in water. I didn't do anything special. I plugged them right back down into the pond setup. So there's 6 vines in here now. 3 of them were the original mother vines, and it grew very, very quickly. If you want a fast growing Hoya, Chinghungensis. But I'm just kind of waiting around and seeing if these other 3 Hoya root or not, just like in the pond, because that would just make my life so much simpler. And also there's no like signs of distress, so I'm hoping that means that they're just rooting out. This is, let's see here. Okay, there you go. Roots. This is in pond, and I love this plant. Can you imagine this being like a very thick, bushy, beautiful plant? Because this is goals, right? Like if you could get like a big bushy plant of these little beautiful tiny leaves, so pretty. Anyhow, this is Hoya Chinghungensis. It would be one of my favorites. I just need it to be in my care a little longer and for me to get this plant exactly where I want it to be. Also, I saw a mealybug on this plant, and so I have to decimate it later. Okay, lastly, this is the 10th plant and the final plant for the video. This is my favorite Hoya in my collection currently, and honestly, it's probably just because of the payoff. It's variegated. It has grown very quickly for me. I got this plant in April. That is May, June, July, August, 4 months ago. I'm going to put a picture here of when I got it, and now this is the Hoya Australis Lisa. It is beautiful. I love it. It's grown so much. Look at the variegation on this plant. It's like splashy yellow with some light green and some dark green. When the new leaves come, you see those 2 new leaves at the top? They're like a red and pink. I mean, this plant is beautiful. I have it on a clear acrylic stake. The payoff has just been great. How big was it when I got it? Here? I mean, it was tiny. This has grown this much in 4 months. It's directly under a grow light. It is in pond. Apparently, it's loving it. And this plant is beautiful. Go and see on my Instagram the picture I took of this. It's just so cute. This is my favorite Hoya in my collection right now. And like I said, I don't know if it's just because of the payoff that it's grown so well for me, or if it's just this yellow-green variegation. This plant's beautiful, and I love it. This is the 10th Hoya, Hoya Australis Lisa, my favorite Hoya, and the last Hoya of this video. Okay, guys, this is the end of my video. Thank you for watching my channel here at Kentucky Plant Daddy. If you don't care, follow me below. Here's my Instagram, ky.plant.daddy. And the next video should round out my Hoya collection. It's going to be one more episode of my Hoyas, and then that should be it. And the reason why I'm going through all of my plants and trying to show you them all my collection is so that we can see them now, and then in 6 months and a year from now, when I'm doing update videos on my plants, we can see which plants thrive, which plants die, and what we can learn to get them to look like this versus dead. And this is going to be the last episode of my Hoya collection on the next video. So thank you guys for coming. Please subscribe.